Damn, Ingenious made the beat. Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I'm, of course, your host, the casual one, Coach Steve. Join with me, as always, the dime dropper himself, Coach Luna. How are we doing, Brody?
Bless. I'm real grateful to go ahead and have a teammate of mine, but also a serial entrepreneur in multitude of different areas joining us today. My brother, Coach Rak. How you doing, man?
What up? How y'all doing, man? Glad to be back.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you back on the pod, Coach Rak. We've learned a ton from the last time we had you on, so we had to bring you back in for a round two. Have another conversation about a very, very near and dear topic to all of us, because this is the season of entrepreneurship. And who better to bring on than Coach Rak to talk about entrepreneurship, because you are the man of many hats, sir.
Yeah.
Rakpo Investments. Let's start there first and foremost. Let's start with first. Well, you know what? Actually, let's rewind. Let's not even go to that first just yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about the mindset that's needed before you actually even start a business, because that's kind of what we've kind of geared up to for the first part. When we talked about mentorship, we talked about starting your own business. There was some things that made you want to start your own business. There may be some people that actually made you want to start your own business. So can you take us through the mindset that kind of helped you get along to the road of starting your own business?
Oh man, for me, it's very easy. It's my parents, my mom, my dad. I've come from a Nigerian background. I have Nigerian parents. I'm first generation American, but just watching their hard work come over here and create a life for themselves. My parents, fun fact, I've never seen my parents have a job in my entire life, not one job. But growing up, my mom did start as a child protective services. She's a caseworker. Growing up, of course, I don't really remember those days as much, but
right.
just from an entrepreneur standpoint, man, just them they opened up an African food store off of Fondren on Southwest Houston, Texas. Fondren and West Airport was one of the first early in the 80s. They opened up a African food store, early 90s, late 80s. And I can say that was probably one of the first African store type of businesses that opened up and kind of get it going. So that's really where I get my entrepreneurial background from. Definitely my dad, my mom. My mom always been more of the books person, organize, keep the books, write all the checks, balance the books at the end of the month. And then my dad was always a hustler. I mean, he'll sell water to a well, you know what I'm saying? So that was that was my dad all day. So that's kind of where I got my business minded entrepreneurial kind of background from.
I love that, because it's full circle. It's super full circle. You got mom to kind of keep you the real organized portion of it, keep you in that, keep that business mindset. And dad is the go get it. He gonna show you how to connect the dots some kind of way. So you kind of got it from both perspectives, where again, a lot of us don't get a chance to see a lot of those perspectives until we start working an actual job, because a lot of our parents haven't started their own business. So you got it from a very early age.
Funny story. And Rat can remember this. I don't know if he'll fully remember this, but this is a true story. Remember when we were in college and we were obviously going to school, doing everything we're supposed to do. Rat said it from day one, bro, I'm not about to be working for nobody else. That was one of the things. That's one of the things he said for sure. Even throughout, getting a degree, everything that we're supposed to be doing, he said he was not going to work for himself. That leads me to my question for you, Rat. as an entrepreneur, you know, there's a passion that's tied to it, to whether it's a certain area or, you know what I'm saying, or something that you have interest towards. Person that's dove into different avenues, what did it take for you to finally say, all right, that's the area I'm gonna go into, and this is how I'm gonna attack it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you read about a lot of like very successful entrepreneurs, you really realize that a lot of them tried a lot of shit. You know, excuse my first, sorry, you can bleep that out, but
You're
a lot
good.
of them, you know, tried a lot of things, you know, before they really hit gold. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what all types of stuff that they've tried. You know, the thing about entrepreneurs, I like to tell people is we really are innovators. So our mind is racing, you know, just 24/7. You know, even married, sometimes my wife has to tell me, like, baby, just like slow down, like just, you know, stay in there. And she kind of keeps me grounded sometimes because once I think of something, I mean, in 2 weeks, I'm ready to implement the thing and get it rolling, you know. So you know, just to kind of answer your question, as you're going through the circle of life and just trying different things, you're going to start gravitating towards things that you feel like you're actually really, really good at. Like even with myself, once I got into working jobs, I remember it was my first real, you know, job, sales job was selling TVs at Circuit City, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized like I really have a knack from, you know, as a high school student, I'm #1 in the region and, you know, flipping plasma T and, you know, LCD TVs at the time is crazy. And that's how I realized I had a really knack for sales, you know, and that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how I started to, you know, get more into sales, learn more into sales, and then, you know, that's kind of how I got started. And then, of course, along the way, man, when I first, you know, got into the business side, I started as a trainer. You know, I started training. I opened up a gym. I was doing a lot of sales for my gym and getting new clients and things like that. And then over time, it just transitioned into I had, you know, was just stacking up my money, had a lot of money, an end goal for myself. I always knew that I was going to get into real estate. I just couldn't afford it at the time, to be honest. You know, I couldn't buy houses. I didn't know what to do. But eventually I slowly got into the real estate space. And that's kind of been, you know, my baby, my, you know, my backbone and pretty much everything I'm doing right now.
So that got us to Enracbo investments.
Yeah.
So before we start getting into that, because again, we can dissect that because I know you said that's like the tree, that's the root, man. You got a bunch of
Mm,
branches that's coming off of this thing that you
yeah.
started kind of, you know, to have that mindset. It takes a different type of mindset to
Yeah.
start your own business, to be consistent, to push yourself and make and set these goals for yourself. It takes a lot to stay committed to those things. So before we get any further, for the fans out there that's thinking about starting your own business, I want to make sure we kind of emphasize this because Coach Rak is not your typical person. To say somebody that, you know, wish that they had a business that they wanted to put together, right? This is not a
Right.
wish. This was something that, like, I am going to do this.
Right.
This is the will. This is something I'm going to will to happen. So for those people out there that are like, you know, you kind of want to have a business, you can't be wishy-washy with this. So Coach Rak, can you
Yeah.
talk to the people out there on the ones that have that initiative, that have that initiative, but
Mm,
really don't really have it? What does it take to really have that mindset? If you, again, not having the upbringing that you've had, again,
right.
somebody that doesn't have that upbringing, that hasn't seen that example, what does it take
Right.
for that person that doesn't have that, but does have that little fire of wanting to start a business?
I would say, you know, first and foremost, anybody that wants to start a business, you have to learn how to sell. That's going to be #1. I think that's the founding block of building a business is knowing how to sell. Because once you find a product or once you have a service, you have to know how to sell it.
Mm.
And I think I said this on my Instagram earlier, but the art of selling is not necessarily in the selling. It's about more so providing the value of whatever it is that you're selling. So if you're selling, so everybody wants to buy, but people don't really like to be sold to.
Right.
So if your job is to create, value in whatever that you're trying to, offer or whatever you're trying to do, so that people naturally are coming to you. That's how you've kind of eclipsed, Coach Luna is doing training right now, and he's putting his clips and his videos and all these different things there. What he's doing is showcasing what him as a coach can do, so that if a kid or something watches it, they're thinking in their head, man, I want to get in on the session, versus him have to physically calling people and, hey, this is what you should do. You should do this, do that, do this, do. So I think number one is going to be definitely, is finding out how to sell and how to sell really, really well. Once you can get to that point, then you can move on to the next thing. But for somebody that's trying to get into entrepreneurial space and things like that, another thing that I know I was going to eventually say at some point is, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people want to use business and investments and all this thing to leave their 9 to 5, to leave their job. It is probably not the smartest thing to do when you're starting out, because businesses can be rocky. I mean, if you haven't even gotten through 2 full seasons of business where you go up, you go down, you're drowning, you have to have some level of fallback, you know what I'm saying, at some point, or something to be able to sustain yourself. So I always say, if you have a full-time job, you use your business and your investments as your side gig. That's your side hustle. And then when you start getting to the point where you're making enough money consistently, where you've seen the ups and downs, not 1 or 2 good months, I mean a consistent 12 plus months of, okay, I can really do this. Now you have enough resources to be able to leave your job and do it and focus full time on it. That's also very, very important.
I'm so glad you said that, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because again, there are some people out there that can pull the trigger and go and do that. Now, we will have some guests on that have done that that left their 9 to 5 and just said, I'm just going to take the chance and do it. Now, again, there are some success stories that are out there like that, but the majority, you got to understand, you need to have that backup plan. You need to have some kind of a fallback. You need to make sure that you have some kind of stability back there. It just can't just up and just start that business. Again, the consistency that it took to start your business is what helped you, again, get to where you are right now. Again, you have to stay disciplined. So staying disciplined, being consistent, using your spare time to build your your empire that you're building right now. We get to Irakpo Investments. What is it? How did you grow it to where it is today? And what did it take to get it to the level that it is today? When I mean get it to that level, I mean also the people that it took as well.
So Ragpo Investments is basically an entity that has, it's the umbrella of different sub companies that fall under, that main entity. So Ragpo Investments does house or, supersedes different businesses, but basically how we got there, I'm gonna say, it's crazy because everything goes back to, level 1 or step 1 or wherever you go, our first deal, which it goes back to the sports training. Because if you look at how Ragpo Investments was created, it was created essentially through marketing. There was a time when I was training athletes and I had my gym, I got really deep into learning marketing because I knew sales. I knew how to sell to people. Now I needed to know how to market the gym, market for new customers, market for new athletes and stuff like that, because we had to do actual ads marketing and advertising for my space that I had at the
Mm-hmm.
time. So I learned it, and I got really, really good at it. Then it got to the point where, football was only seasonal sport. And when you're running a gym, you have to have multiple streams of income to be able to run that gym.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem I was faced at the time was, okay, I need to figure out, I'm gotten really good at marketing. Now it's probably time where I need to start marketing for other people because I can add that into additional revenue stream. So I started marketing for other gyms. It was about 9 gyms that I started marketing in. And then that's when I got into real estate. Essentially, that's when I tipped into real estate because I started in marketing for real estate agents. So I was actually bringing in real estate agents, clients for them while I was training. At that time, didn't know much about real estate, but I had to learn it because that was my client base.
Mm-hmm.
Weeks before I even knew it, 60, 70% of my income was coming from marketing for these real estate agents because I was getting them listings and listings and listings and clients, and they just kept coming back and referring other people. And that's when I knew, okay, this marketing stuff, I really kind of got a knack for marketing and ads and all these different things. And then Luna knows this, but that's when it led over into, okay, well, let's create a store and, let's create an e-com store and let's start selling some of our products in the gym. At that time I had protein and all these, and I just threw some of the top products that I thought, hey, let's start it. And we started getting sales online through one store, just started being able to market online through ads. And next thing you know, I got to the point where my rents, I remember like it was yesterday, all my bills came out to about $4,000 at that time. In terms of like my rent, car payment, this, that. And I was like, look, I need one store to be able to make this amount. That's my goal. And I'm going to grind my ass off until I can get to that point. When my first Shopify store got to that point to replace an income, then I knew, okay, now I can start offering this service to other people. I can charge them a premium amount. I can create a store for them. And then I can start marketing their store so that they can create income for themselves. And that's when I think was the first time where I started getting to the point of making me real money at that time. That's when that was the year that I think it was 2019 or so, 2018, 2019. But that was the year that I hit 7 figures that year off of just sales on e-com store on the time. It was that kind of skyrocketed my business career, entrepreneurial career at that point. Yep.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's just dope. Coach
So it's
Lewis.
crazy how like the pieces are, it's like a domino effect,
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have learned marketing if I didn't have the gym and I wasn't training. And then after I learned marketing, then I kind of got into with real estate and learned a little bit about the market and how lucrative it was. And then off of that, I got into the e-com deal. Off of the e-com stores, I was able to get all this cash. And then guess what? Now I finally got the money to get into real estate, which I wanted to do in the beginning.
Right.
I knew that drop shipping was only short term. I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to, because drop shipping was very hot at the time. And I got in before the bubble bursted, because the bubble did burst. Right. But I got in, Luna, remember years ago when I started it. Mm-hmm. And then, the, what is it? The COVID happened and everybody in the world had all these access to money. People was opening stores. And at that time, I was already getting out of the industry. Right. The bubble burst at that time. And then boom, that's when I kind of got into the real estate side of things.
I'm glad you said that, because again, I was going to ask, like,
yeah,
did you know that was a short-term goal to get you set up for something bigger that you were already working for? And again, you ended that beautifully. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was my wife that Mary was the one that told me, like, hey, you're doing so good. Like, she was the one that motivated me to actually keep going in it, because to be completely honest, I probably would have stopped on the e-com stuff after, because I was ready. It wasn't long term for me. And it was also hard. My team was getting larger, and if you know me, I don't like running big teams, and I knew that I got to the point in my business where I had to start running like a 20-person team for this to be successful, and I had no ambitions to do that. I think we got up to like 14, and I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with this no more. It's too many people to manage and doing this, doing that. So it was at that point I kind of knew, all right, it's kind of time for me to, pivot and exit and then go somewhere else.
Initially starting though, Coach, how big of a team did you have initially starting? Was it just you yourself doing like all of those pieces, or did you slowly and implement, a couple people here and there just to kind of outsource some of those other duties that you had?
Me and an ad buyer by the name of Chooks. Good friend of mine. He came to our wedding, but me and him, it was me. I had the idea, I had the brains, I had what I wanted, and he was the ad buyer that I had at the time. Mm-hmm. So it was literally me and him got up to 20 some, almost think 30 stores that day. It was just me and him running all those stores.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Coach Rak, I got a question. And it kind of comes back to something that I heard Brandon LaFell talk about on one of those podcasts, and he was on. He said this. He was like, all the times people get on pods, they all hear the success stories, right?
Yeah.
Where was that fork in the road for you, or where was that one time where you had to be like, man, you have to kind of question you're crazy, and you kind of had to question whether or not, am I really doing this the right way? Can you like pinpoint a time that happened, and like what was it that flipped the switch to make you say, boom, all right, this is how I gotta attack this?
Number one, my gym, I had to actually close my gym because I couldn't run it when I wasn't living in Houston anymore. I thought I could. I thought I had all the systems and all that stood up, and I didn't. So I got out of that. So that was, in the perfect world, I could have exited that place, on top way more. And I didn't do it the way I would have wanted to do. So that's number one. Another one definitely came when I was doing in the e-com space. So the thing about the e-com space is, although you can be very good at marketing, when you get to the point of marketing fit, I mean, bro, we had 100+ accounts. That can just let you know. And we went from offering our service at 6,000 to get in to 12K. So you can do the math. And then that's not even including the recurring money that we had coming in, because we was making a percentage of their sales without having to invest anything. They would invest, we would get our percentage for managing, for our management fee, plus what they was paying to come in and invest. The part where it started kind of weighing on me heavy was, you never want to, you always know in investments, there's never 100%. Okay. Even if you're shooting 7 out of 10 in investments, that is a good space to go. So even if you're shooting 70%, if you bring 10 people on and 7 is doing good, then you're doing good. And anybody that says that other than that, they're lying. So we got to the point where we was at 80 something percent on our, success rate at one point. And this is when, everything was, going really good. And then it dropped to, 68%. And then it dropped, and then it dropped. And then it was just like, okay, is it dropping because we're short staffed? I added more staff. If it's dropping because, we're not getting new products, I kept adding new products. No, it's dropping because the industry is changing, and so many people are entering what was becoming a watered down industry by so many competitions. What normally cost somebody $6 to purchase a shirt, started to cost, $31. There's no way to profit in that when you were only profiting $15 per shirt or whatever, $18 per shirt. So this kind of happened, gradually, and it got to the point where it's just like, man, we have all these clients. We've taken all this money of these clients, and the industry is changing, and people aren't able to understand that the industry has changed and everybody is not where they once were. How they see it is, MF, I gave you this money. I need, this needs to happen right now. Like, what's going on? We're not getting
Make my
success.
return.
I need my returns back. So that part is where it kind of weighed on me because, man, I'm a man of faith. I'm a man of God. And I, at no point, will ever get to the point where I'm taking people money purposely knowing that I can't deliver. And so when that happened, it was like, okay, we have to stop taking clients. And there was a time where, we stopped taking clients for a full year and we just focused on as many people as we can focus on and try to get them back in the green and things like that. So those were some definitely rough areas. Luna knows I got beat up in the crypto market. Like, this stuff is not all green. And I mean, I lost almost 100 grand, of cash in crypto because my crypto exchange filed for bankruptcy. It's just like you put all your money in Robinhood, and then Robinhood woke up one day and was like, all right,
sorry,
we shutting down. Man, I got $12,000 out of all the money I had in there. Crazy. So it's not all roses all the time, especially when you up. It is definitely not all roses at all, So that's actually a great question, man, because people don't talk about their losses and their L's a lot. Yeah. Cryptocurrency market is an industry that I definitely believe in. I still believe in it, but I got beat up pretty bad. Yeah.
It's a very volatile market. Very, very much so. Very much so. I'm glad that you asked that question, Coach Luna. Because you're right. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about the losses enough.
Yeah.
How did you bounce back from that loss, and how did you stay committed in that loss? Because there's other individuals that probably would have 100K. I'm gone, bro. Like 100K, I can't do it. I can't do it right now in my situation. I can't do 100K. What about that situation said, nope, stay in the fight, stay committed, stay faithful, stay 10 toes down, keep the march going forward?
Yeah. And I'm assuming you're talking about just investing, period.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I cut the losses on the crypto. We ain't had no choice.
Right.
They cut us out.
You can't get 100K back.
Nah. So, but no, and just investing, you gotta think about it. Investing is just a game of numbers if you know what you're doing. It's kind of like being in Vegas. Like, man, if you're in that casino long enough, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. But also there's a time that you're also gonna be able to get hot in there too, right? So one thing you got to realize is, when you get into investments, you have to come up with a strategy. It's very strategic on investments, and that's what investments work. Always having an exit strategy. A lot of people that get into investments, I see it, they're trying to get into it to make a quick buck, and that can be short term. But if you have a real strategy on, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to obtain, then you're gonna have it's less volatile when you go that route. You see what I'm saying? So, for example, in the real estate industry, if you're able to follow the rules of real estate when you're going into investing and how to buy properties and how not, and how to be able to pass on deals and have long-term plays that you are okay waiting on and holding, then that's pretty much how you win. That's how you get wealthy. That's how you make a lot of money on the back end. Be able to withstand that. If you're one of those people that everyone's gonna have a bad deal. Don't get in the stock market if you can't see when you're minus, if you can't see when you blood in the red, don't get in the stock market because you lose when you sell. When you sell, when you lose. You have your guys at the top that when they're down, they buy down. They buy more of, to get back up. They'll buy it down again, getting back up. But you have other people that as soon as they see, oh, I'm down 3,000, they're ready to pull the plug, and that's when you lose. You know, so.
Rak, I got a question for you, and this is more of like an opinion. Do you think being conservative and being an entrepreneur, do you think that those two mindsets can coexist? Because, you know, I've been reading the 10X rule, and Grant Cardone don't make it seem like you could really be a conservative person at all. Like, it's either do or don't.
Ooh, that's a good question.
The GPA
that's
question
a great question
that you brought into the group chat kind of had me thinking about this.
Yeah, and we can, you know, probably get into that in another time.
We can get into
there's
this
this theory I have about GPAs. Basically, it goes essentially the higher the GPA, the less of an entrepreneur they're being, only because typically high level thinkers, like, you know, your 4.0s and pluses and stuff like that, they're typically your super conservative people. These are your people that they overthink everything. Everything has to align. Everything has to be perfectly. I mean, the line has to be, you know, completely perpendicular. No, you have your entrepreneurs that just, you have your entrepreneurs that just like, look, is it A plus B equals C? Let's go. Let's go do it. And you have to be willing to take those chances to, you know, be a good entrepreneur. You have to be willing to take those chances. To answer your question, I think you can be a conservative entrepreneur. You just have to have some characteristics that's not conservative. You can be overall a conservative person. It's just you may not be the Grant Cardones of the world, you know, but you have to be able to be okay with losing. Mm-hmm. You have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to be okay with understanding that you may lose, and you actually may lose often. It's when you win, and you win big, and that's when you get to where you at. Most entrepreneurs, man, like I said earlier, all it takes is one big thing for them to hit. It's like you digging. It's like you keep spending money on digging, and you just, you know, you keep digging, and just like, all right, I'm an idiot, but I'm gonna spend again, and I'm gonna dig again because I feel like there's gold in this backyard somewhere. And I'm gonna spend again, and I'm gonna go back in there, and I'm gonna dig again. And it's just like, after you spent $20,000 digging because you know you're just crazy that there's gold, and then guess what? On the 20th dig, you just struck gold. And then now everybody's asking you, well, how did you do it? Well, how did you know? How did it? And now you're so rich because you have a pot full of gold now. That's all entrepreneurship is about. You know, you may lose, and then boom, you hit.
If I could take two words from that, it just sounds like adaptability and consistency.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
I want to kind of go back on this because, again, you said, you know, having that consistent mindset, digging and being consistent. One of the things that I want to add on to that is an entrepreneur, in my opinion, an entrepreneur, I agree with you 100% on the GPA, by the way. When you made that comment, I thought of 3 people, and I was like, damn, that's 100% them, 100%.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I noticed about entrepreneurs, when they reach the goal, the end goal, that wasn't the end goal.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's stairs. It's like, yes, I want to get here, but I'm not looking at this. I'm looking up here at the other goal. And even when you get to this goal, it's another one that's even further up that I'm also looking at as well. And that's what I find with entrepreneurs, like, they find themselves hitting that goal that they want, but there is another goal. The true entrepreneurs, I should say, the wannabe entrepreneurs find themselves hitting that goal and be like, ha, I did it. And
Yeah.
I find that they celebrate that goal too long. And then that's when they find, okay, they kind of plateau at that point. Have
Mm.
you seen those type of individuals, and how do you help those individuals that may not have the foresight to see past the initial goal that they set for themselves?
Well, I think that's what makes the great entrepreneurs great, or the really good entrepreneurs good, or the really good coaches good and great. If you look at, let's use sports, we talk about the Coach Life podcast. Let's do sports, for example. Luna, I know you know this one. How many times have we seen coaches that were good coaches at one time, but they never adapted? They never,
all the
they
time.
never, they never continue to pour new things into that toolbox, and
We can
they learn
we can
something,
say the
and
one right now, Dabo
and
Swinney.
they stayed that way, the same way, instead of embracing, new technology, embracing new innovation, embracing new rules in the new time that we're in. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurs. You always got to be, striving and thinking of new ways and new ideas to be able to kind of, keep going and keep climbing and keep climbing, because it's always a continuous climb.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows once we get to the point where we think we've arrived, you have other people, other competitors, call it your haters, call it whoever it is, but you're always going to feel like you can be knocked off at any. How many times have we seen a company that was on top, and then
Mm-hmm.
a year or two later, it's like no one cares about them anymore?
Dell
You see what I'm saying?
Computers.
That was right.
It's just,
Boom.
and if you look what happened to AMC theaters. Look what happened to Redbox when everything was telling Redbox, you need to start street. They just wanted to just stick with what they were doing, and then Netflix came and passed them on by. You know, so yeah, man, that's just I hope that answers your question, but I mean,
Absolutely.
you definitely got to keep climbing them stairs.
I love this word, the segue. That's gonna segue to this question. That's gonna segue to the question I want to ask you, bro. So, like, how do you kind of facilitate, or as yourself, when you get these new innovative things that come around and you hear about them and you're starting to, like, okay, you're seeing the wave of, okay, people are starting to gravitate that way. How do you find a way to navigate yourself into that space so that something that was foreign, you are now starting to understand it, and it's almost something that you kind of like, now you're going to step into this space? How do you get yourself involved to, like, all right, I can navigate through this?
Groups,
Mm.
definitely groups. Find people that are already doing it and are already doing it at a high level. And almost, I mean, in the first place that you can find these people at is Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group for almost anything that you want. Like if I'm learning how to mount TVs, I guarantee you, if you go on Facebook and you put in TV mountain, whatever, I guarantee you there's mountaineers in there literally telling you, oh no, you got to use a bolt here and this and that all day. So find groups, forums. Another one, bro, when I'm in my research phase, I'm literally anywhere where I can consume information. So some of my favorite places are places where a lot of people would never go to. Number one, Facebook group. Another place that I love going into is Reddit. Get in on Reddit. Those people will talk about things that I mean, when I was getting into Airbnb, I was literally in Reddit all the time, just reading forums and the groups and just looking at what they're talking about. Another one is YouTube videos all day, just find some people. I guarantee you right now, if you wanted to learn about flipping houses, there's people on YouTube literally telling you step by step, this is how you do it. This is what to do. And you follow and consume yourself with as much information as you possibly can. And you continue consuming. And then once you've gotten to the point of consuming, what I do all the time is I tell somebody what I've learned. That's what always helps me. The first person that I'm teaching on something is Mary all the time. Like, hey, baby, this is da, 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 da. And then she'll ask questions. And guess what? If I don't know the answer to it, I'm going to go find out because I know that's a good question. And I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go research. And then I'm going to come back and be like, oh, yeah. Da, 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 da. So sometimes we both kind of look into things. And, you know, I'm just always just figuring out a way to get more information on stuff. Yeah.
So, another segue.
Yeah.
When you're learning about and researching all that stuff, how do you know what's good info and what's bad info? You know, I talked about listening and shaking up that thing to being realized where's the gold. How are you able to, you know, that's just a load of crap compared to, oh, okay, that's actually really good information and it's value. You know what I'm saying? How do you find the value in whatever that you may be listening to?
Finding the goal between the fool's goal.
Yeah. So you actually beat me to where I was going at too. Is so you asked a good question. I don't think I have ever been in a space where I didn't invest into some type of mentorship ever. Every single space that I have been into, I have invested into mentorship. And the only way that I will invest into that mentorship is if I can see the actual, you know, students that has went through whatever that is, and I can talk to these people because I always find them. Most of the time they tag them, or the students will go online talking about how they just signed up for what you call program and such and such. And then also in those groups, for example, when I got into the real estate space, I joined a Invest Academy, which was all about, you know, real estate investing. I went into Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets is a big real estate forum. And the guy was well known. Guess what I did? Put his name in there. And you have other investors that are literally in that forum talking about their experience in that academy. And once I was able to see these people talking, I still didn't take it for face value. What I did was I reached out to them and I was like, hey, did you da 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 da? And then I was able to talk to the person. We got on the phone and talking to a real person. They were giving me about all the support and all the help and this and that. And that gave me enough confidence to say, all right, I'm going to invest into it. So I did that for the gym. When I was learning out how to market my gym, I invested into a mentor that had 20 gyms at the time. I did it on the realtor space. I invested into courses on the e-com Shopify space. I've always done it. And that's how I've always been able to get information that a lot of people don't necessarily have easy access to all the time.
Or they do have access to it. They just don't take the steps that are needed to get the access that's needed, because you got into a forum.
Well, free access.
Right.
Yeah, free access. Yeah. Because you got to think, when people are like, when you go, for example, when you go on YouTube, right? Like, let's use football, for example. Luna, when you're trying to learn about the spread offense, right? You can go to online, you know, YouTube, and, you know, read books and stuff like that. You can absolutely do that. But it's different if you're actually being taught by Mike Leach. You see what I'm saying? And you being able to be taught by Mike Leach, he's going to educate you on some things that, you know, you just wouldn't have been able to get if you just went to YouTube or somebody and guide you. So if you have questions, or, you know, just helping you understand things a lot easier, it's always better that way. And that has just been my personal success. I know you have some self-made people that feel like, you know, mentors are a scam and waste of money and stuff like that. But man, I'm a real big proponent. That's how I've always been able to find success a lot faster. I will literally find a mentor that is already doing it at such a high level, and I will do everything. Some of them don't even offer mentorship sometimes. And I'm just like, what do I got? Like, I'm not gonna stop bugging you until I feel like I can really get what I need. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do sometimes. Yeah.
Some people don't like taking that step, man. I think that's the hardest part for some people is like getting themselves out of get themselves out of the way so that they can get the
Yeah.
information that they need to get to. So, man, again, it's like a circle. It just keeps coming back like a circle, bro. Every single time.
Mentorship, giving back, that's real.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Let's
Yeah.
kind of dig in just a little bit more. So say you're a person who does not have or thinks they do not have the capital to go ahead and say, all right, so and so business, this is that I want to go into. In your area and your research and everything that you've experienced and things that you've heard and things like that, what are avenues that you would say without giving up the game, obviously, but what areas would you say, hey, that's a very lucrative, not high cost way to build that, and I've read this in the wealth accumulation phase is what we're all currently in right now. How can you build that so that you can get to that next step, which led to this, that leads to that ultimate umbrella, like you said?
Yeah. So, and this kind of really goes for any industry. When you don't have the resources, what you can do is you can place resources with skill. You can also replace, resources with sweat equity. And a lot of people don't think that because they just giving themselves an excuse of, I don't have the resources to get it done. When in actuality, if you learn about what you're trying to get into, there are so many different avenues how you can get started. Okay, let's use real estate, for example. Really, getting money in real estate is probably one of the easiest things that you will ever realize once you're in real estate. Anybody will give you money. There's private banks and private money people that want to give you money so they can make money, because there's people who make money off lending. Our bank makes money off of investing our money that we have in the bank. So when a bank feels like you have good deals, they will fund those deals for you. Sometimes at 100%, where you don't even have to pay anything. They will fund if it's a good enough deal. That means that where the value at is in you finding the deal. See what I'm saying? If you go right now and you find a deal that's $75,000, right? And everyone knows that when this deal is fixed up, it's worth $350,000, and you only have to put in another $40,000, $90,000 all in, and then the deal's worth $350,000. I mean, you'll have people lined up in your front door ready to give you money, because it's just like, why not? Like, I know you're gonna get in here and make the money, and then I get my money back. You literally have people lined up. You have investors, people wanting to give you money. Some people will give it to you at 12% interest, 13%, 10%, whatever it is. They will give you the money. But the skill is in finding the deal. You see what I'm saying? If you're a marketer, or let's say you're a digital marketer, or you wanting to get into that space, and you're like, man, I don't have money for ads. I don't have money to put towards. Okay, well, work for somebody who need marketing, and tell them, hey, I will market for you for free. That's where you gain your experience. Find somebody who that you're willing to be able to test your marketing and get better, and just say, I work for you for free. Give me 2 months. If it doesn't work, you can fire me. But I just want to gain experience. But you have people that are not willing to do that. They want to jump right into, what it is. They want to jump right into making money. So they're not willing to take that extra step before they get to that point. Another thing is wholesaling. Luna, you find a deal right now and you bring the deal to me. You're like, hey, Mike, my neighbor is, he wants to sell his house. He just got inherited a home. He don't even care for it. So it's worth 200. He wants to sell it for 150 tomorrow. You bring that deal to me, I'll cut you a check for 10 grand just for the hell of, just for bringing the deal, and you have so many investors that will do that to you. So you have some people who wholesale. All they do is go out, and find real estate deals everywhere. And they don't even buy that. All they do is find a deal, partner up with an investor. The investor will cut them a check and they're done. And that's the money.
People don't know
So it
that
almost
that's a
sounds
part
like
of the
there's
game.
even avenues for network can literally be your net worth. As
Exactly.
far as your ability to go ahead and connect, boom, 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 boom.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So
You said something
money
key
is
though.
not a hurdle. It's more so the skill. If you can get yourself to the point of, I can provide value to whoever or whatever, that's what matters. Then you can work yourself up to get money. Then you can work yourself up to being able to buy these homes yourself and rent them out and do whatever you want. Yeah.
It's kind of like what we just put in our story just a little while ago. We talked about skills. We talked about having the skills to actually do what you want to do. And it's funny because I just recently saw a story where a guy said, don't go to college. He was like, I got a skill learning how to do electrical.
Yeah.
And I bought a house, rented out a house, redid the entire house, had 6 rooms in the house, and I rented it out to 6 of my buddies who were going to college. Look at that. It's like I was the landlord for him. So like that, again, just having the skill to do some of those things and starting your own business, like you don't know what doors could potentially open up for you. Just like with you knew what the end goal was for you, but you probably didn't know all the many steps that were going to happen to get you to that end goal. You just picked up a bunch of gems and a bunch of skills now to help you expand your business to massive, massive, massive amounts.
So, Coach, I know we're getting close on time, and this question
we
is
good.
burning in my brain. It's burning in my brain. I gotta ask it. What advice would you give back to young Rakpo? And what advice, especially when you were at your crossroads with the athletics stuff?
Damn, dime dropper, you stole my question.
Do you, knowing what you know now, do you automatically start, you know what I'm saying, start working on that skill to help you where you are now? Obviously, the path that you took still worked out phenomenal, right? But if you could, even if it's not yourself, let's just say it's a random kid that, you know what I'm saying, football career is over, whatever the case may be, or even an adult right now. What advice would you give them that is contrary to popular belief as far as the approach or the, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that takes to get to that next level?
Man, that's a good question, because if you ask me what advice would I give my younger self, prior to business, I had all type of advices to give, but
let's go there.
But man, when I got older, I'm not gonna lie, man, like, if I look back at it, knowing kind of how everything kind of domino effect, I feel like my story can be used on the next, you that is not playing anymore, because bro, the only reason why I even was working this hard to do and make what first of all, I had financial income goals and all this stuff, was because the chip I had on my shoulder from not playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be able to afford this type of car, to have this type of house, to live the type of lifestyle that I would have lived. Like, even me right now, my lifestyle now is not any different, in my opinion, than had I played ball and been done. You know what I'm saying? And that was a goal for me. You know what I'm saying? So the advice that I would have is, use your work ethic that you learn through sports and football and your hard work and how we was as athletes. See, a lot of the time when people go into their job, the workplace, become entrepreneurs, they kind of like, oh, it's 5 o'clock and then they turn it off, or all right, 6 o'clock, and then whatever it is whatever business or whatever, and then they turn it off. Like, but us as athletes, when we was playing, it really was not really that much turn off. You know, it's just constant, just go like every day, it's clockwork. But then when you get into the next life, sometimes you don't see those same athletes be able to transition because they love the game so much that they just never bounce back in their real life. But what can happen a lot of times is, man, if you can transfer that love that you once had that you really don't have anymore, find your passion and then attack that passion with the same effort, big dog, it ain't many regular people out here that's gonna be able to outwork somebody that was going through fall camp. It just ain't.
Facts.
Like your average Joers, bro, if you look at some of the high profile athletes, they're at the top of these businesses when it comes to sales because we can outwork the normal Smojo when we put that effort into whatever we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that is what I always would tell people, that, you know, when you hang them cleats up, it's go time now. All right, cool. I couldn't get the quick money at the time because all football. You got to think about it. NFL, football, all that's quick money. That whether it's happens in 5 years, it's 10 years, it's quick money. Most of those guys, if they get a big contract, they make a lot of money, and then they kind of, you know, carry that money to last, you know, pretty much a lifetime, because they know, a lot of those guys know, I will never make that type of money again. For your everyday person, we don't have that quick money at one time built up. We have to make our money as time progresses. It's the long game. You see what I'm saying? So now over the next 20 years, we're probably making what those guys made in 5. Over the next 20, we're playing a long game. So right now, you still got to give that same type of effort, though, because that's how you're going to be able to get to that type of money. You see what I'm saying? You got to think about it, bro. When them NFL guys retire, a lot of the time, they ain't make it. Some of them don't even, they just find normal stuff to do. And, it's just about not going broke. But for us, we're continuing to make money year in and year out and year in and year out. It don't stop for us. And it's going to continue that as we go all the way into retirement. So we just got to kind of keep that same attitude on. All right, I got to keep attacking. We ain't got time to coast. See what I'm saying? So,
man, it's crazy. It almost sounds like contractual work puts a mental trap on your ambitions, because the constant money and constant pay kind of gives you that mental thing of like, oh shit, I'm gonna get paid anyway. Oh shit, I'm gonna get paid anyway.
Comfortability.
And comfortability. And a lot of people don't realize, like, bro, you have extra time, you just not using it well. And that's kind of like what kind of finally clicked for me, bro. Like this past year, I'm like, hold on. I had to get myself back in order and take a sit back. And I'm just like, hey, bro, you got time. You got plenty of time now. What you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? It started to finally click, and hearing what you just said, I'm like, bro, contractual work is a mental freaking trap for ambition. That's crazy.
I'll leave this before we go, man. And it's like, I'm giving y'all all the gems. I'm just pulling them out as much as I can. I got y'all, man. But when it comes to, I know some people are not too big into politics and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to go too deep, but when you really realize this country, and you understand, small business and big business, you realize that this country is built off of business and entrepreneurship. And, that's what makes this country go circle. It's either the big hats or it's the small businesses and the impacts, and when you look at tax benefits, tax write-offs, and, how to leverage you know, what you're earning and what you do. You know, man, somebody earning $100,000 in business will feel $100,000. I promise you, because what that person is able to do is they're able to take what they've earned and what the business earned and separate the two, and then use different tax strategies to be able to write those business expenses off to the point where you're not really paying taxes like that on a high level, unless that's something that you want to claim that you've actually made for that year. Right. You have the ability as business owners to essentially decide on what you want to claim. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different part of things. But when you're able to understand that, you know, when you have a business, you have a lot of control of the income that you have that's coming in, and what you're doing with it, and how to leverage it. You realize that this country really supports that type of business. When you go into investments, and I'm not talking about just opening up a store across the street, I'm talking about real investments, stocks, real estate, and you understand how you can be able to waive some of your capital gains. You can do 1031 exchanges on properties and move your tax over into different areas where you're not actually paying your tax on what you've been gained on that property. Is like your head will be blown when you realize, God, I mean, even when I'm losing, I'm winning, because the losses that you just took in your company, guess what? You claiming it. You see what I'm saying?
You can pick it back up.
So you can be picking some of the losses back up that you've already lost here. You know, dang, I just lost this, da, 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 da. Boom, you put that in as a loss on your income for that year. See what I'm saying? So when you look at real estate, a lot of people get into it for tax benefits. And when you're able to like know and use and move and leverage, you know, tax benefits and a lot of these different investments in business, you're going to realize that there's a lot of creative financing and creative strategies that you'll be able to make in business. Definitely. You'd be surprised. Some people even buy stuff only because of the certain breaks they'll get when they're doing it. They're like, hey, I mean, I got to give what to who? Oh, nah. Let me just start. And they just start buying up stuff. You was already going to pay the money back anyway. So guess what? Instead of you paying $400,000 back, let's buy these houses and move that over here. Even if we do lose, guess what? We lost 200,000 over here. I was already going to pay you 400. Now I only got to pay 2. And that's an asset that I have for lifetime now. You see what I'm saying? So
it's shifting the mindset. And I think that's the hard part for a lot of people, is that they don't understand sometimes shifting your mindset, just that small little tweak, just like you mentioned, again, going on YouTube, you know, finding a skill, like actually go research the skill, go do the research, go do the follow-up, go look for the information that you want to go look for. It's out there. It's again, it's, do you really want it? And I think that's one of the things that we started off this podcast with, is the entrepreneur and the real entrepreneur. There's a very big difference between the two. Some people that talk about wanting to own their own business, and then the people that actually started their own business and actually are pursuing and pushing, right? So Coach Wash, I know you latecomer on the pod, sir. You missed all
Coach Wash, what's going on, man?
What's up, Rak, man? Yeah,
gyms have all been picked up, sir.
I'm sorry. I had to come in here like Russell Simmons back on Def Poetry Jam.
The end.
Unfortunate situations happened this week, but had to go see a couple former athletes, but it was good. You know, it's district for track season right now.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Still coaching in that realm to some extent.
That's good.
Being
never
present.
Stop coaching.
You never stop coaching. I like what I caught though, right?
I appreciate it.
You just caught a little bit.
I know it's a little bitty nugget, but Yeah, he's talking game.
You're gonna
I
have to hear
like
this on the rewind, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely scroll back through. You already know we watch our own stuff anyway. We watch our own
All
stuff more
day.
than TV.
Absolutely.
This should give him
Back to
Cat
business. You
Williams
know what
and
I'm
Joe
saying?
Rogan
You
numbers.
wear your own business, support your own
Hey,
business. Hey,
yes,
but we talk about
sir.
the pod. I listen to the
Yes,
pod
sir.
more than I watch TV. So
Yes, sir.
Iron sharp
I'm
as
gonna
iron.
tune in too.
yeah,
Coach Rak, you gave us a lot of great gems today. Almost more gems than Coach Luna in this. I think the
Hey,
tally is close.
hey,
man,
hey, I'll give it to him. Right? Hey,
Rak,
this rack house right here, bro.
Rak
Absolutely.
Big
came for the
house.
dime dropper.
Oh yeah.
Man,
You,
y'all
you
know I
can't.
talk business stuff all day, man. Y'all know I
Thanks.
would. I don't mind.
We appreciate you, sir. We definitely appreciate you. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you want to tell the Coach Life fans out there? You got any upcoming projects? Anything that you're working on? Anything you want to mention?
Yeah, I am a part of me and Luna's alma maters that have a Texas State NIL collective that I'm a part of. I partnered up with Patrick Doherty, who is a part of it, who's pretty much running the show for our school. As people know, in the college climate right now, these NIL means name, image, and likeness. You know, some of these kids are starting to get to the point where they can get paid, off of their
Mm-hmm.
name, which is a great thing. It's new. We're still kind of figuring it out, but every school that's coming on with the new times is being in position to get back to their student athletes. So I'm excited. I think tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, every Wednesday though. So whenever this airs, every Wednesday on Twitter, my Twitter is at Rak Nation, RAK Nation. We'll be going every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to just educate people on our NIL and why it's important and stuff like that. So if you're in that space, it don't even matter if you're a part of our program or if you're just trying to get more information. You can always tune in and we'll get that info over to you.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. We'll definitely make sure that we got a link in the bio or either in the link of this particular podcast just to make sure that everybody can check it out for sure, for sure.
For sure.
Awesome, man. Well, Coach Rak, again, I definitely appreciate you jumping on the pod. We always have a blessed time with you on dropping dimes for us, giving us some great information, some great feedback on how to be a better entrepreneur, how to be a more sharper, more focused, more consistent, dedicated entrepreneur. But make sure we use those adjectives out there for those individuals out there, because you have to have all of those pieces to be the full successful entrepreneur that you have been today, sir. So again, thank you so much for dropping these dimes on us today.
No problem, my brother. No problem. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, before we get out of here, Coach Luna, do you have anything before we wrap up, sir?
Man, I'm just soaking everything in. A lot of good information, man. There's a lot of things in there that I feel like anybody that listens to this pod can kind of identify where they may be, because I feel like everybody has this. Everybody has this like innate feeling or this innate thing to be like, man, I really think, man, that's the thing right there that can get me out of this and this, just having that reality of like, all right, there are things. And, the one thing that kind of stuck out to me, right, what Rak kept saying was about skill, you know what I'm saying? Sweat equity. And those are things that, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that you can actually do as a person. Those are things that you can actually improve on and become, you know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with, I was born this way or anything like that. No, that's something that you can grind to become.
Absolutely.
And, hearing that is kind of like reaffirmation, reconfirmation with, a lot of the things that you kind of feel sometimes, but then when you hear it, it's just like, okay, you know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? And that little igniter that kind of just starts the big fire. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Rak. I mean, man,
no problem, bro.
Countless amount of gems. You know what I'm saying?
A gift, bro. You a gift for sure. We can't close this pod out. You don't know. Yeah, you right. You already know where you going, Coach. Go ahead.
I'm just I think we're gonna have to get you back on because there's a lot of stuff in that real estate market that we can kind of dive into a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I couldn't think of any better person to start off the entrepreneurship avenue that we're about to go into with this pod than yourself, bro. I'm giving you your flowers right here again.
Appreciate it, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
I always appreciate it, bro.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
Coach Wash,
So
I think you owe us something. We can't close this pod out. Now, if you don't have it, I understand. I understand because you were a latecomer, so I understand.
I got to though. I mean, I got too much not to have something.
Oh, you do, huh? Well, that means that you have all of 2 minutes to hurry up and get through it, sir. Because Coach Rak is on a time crunch right now, sir. Because he got investments to get to, and we don't want to hold him up, sir.
No, I ain't trying to slow up no money, not at all. Hold on, let me get it right. I need to find something short and precise, right?
Yes. Hopefully within the entrepreneurial spirit. In the consistency realm, in the dedication realm, in the go get up and get a goddamn skill realm. Like whatever realm you can muster out of there for us, sir.
But whatever realm, let's see. Can I just wordplay a little bit?
You most certainly can.
It may not be in that realm, but can we just wordplay?
You can do whatever you like, sir. This is kind of
Thank you for coming out. God bless you.
There it is.
No, I got some.
I'm not gonna say when we get sued for using copyright infringement.
He not suing nobody no more.
Nah, for real.
True.
A whole nother story.
Yeah, true.
I'm scrolling because y'all see how much I be writing.
Well, how about this, yo?
I got something I just wanted to play with.
Okay, because I was gonna say if you don't have it right now, then that means you owe us 2 next week.
I mean, I can keep going.
That's
just like Rak said, he can do it the business talk.
Well, we still waiting right now. We about a minute and 30 in right now.
We here. Let me play with this. See if we catch the bars. I call it chess game. This is one of my favorite pieces. All right, real short. Been playing chess for a long time, blessed with a strong mind. Get checked if you test mine. My bishop's got the juice. Tie your own noose if you think you're ready to cut loose. My rooks are crooks, a lot of sleepless nights on the books, and the queen bee be the baddest bitch. Roll reversal on her king shit. Pawns pulled up in the Trojan horse, all finesse, big bang with no force. Glory to the brothers that thought they knew my course. This war ends unexpectedly, no remorse.
Oh. You have no chess to understand.
I'm gonna say you most definitely have.
You don't know how to play chess. That just went over everybody.
So checkers. Yeah. So let's do this. Coach Rak gave us some great. There you go. Coach Rak gave us some great gems today. He said, "Go to YouTube, learn a skill. Chess may be one of them, so you can understand what the hell he just said."
Hey, no, more than chess, you also gotta your black card got to be intact because that was some hood movie.
Very true. Very true. I appreciate the juice reference in there. I appreciate that very much so. Again, if you like what you heard from the Coach Life Podcast, fam, hit that like and subscribe button if you want to hear some more. Again, the next coming pods, I know we have more entrepreneurs that we're going to be bringing on. Again, have the same type of mindset, the same type of commitment, the same type of consistency that's needed to get yourself to that next level, right? Because it's all about leveling yourself up at the end of the day. So again, if you like what you heard, hit that like and subscribe button. And until the next time, my friends, stay positive.